Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. Last day of the month, 31st of March, Tuesday. You can see interesting moves on days like this, so I'd be careful. We have been seeing some buying that might continue, but I'd be careful because you can see weird stuff at the end of the month, especially in the treasuries. Anyways, I got lots of stuff going on. I fixed the microphone. I might still mess with it. I don't know. Like, I think I could get it closer here. Hold on. I think I can. That's a little bit better. It's close. It's like there. And it is right where I want. I can see over it. It's perfect. You would not believe what I had to do to get this to work. Like, I basically cannibalized two of my microphone stands, and I like cut through with a hacksaw and put silicone. Anyways, it works. It's great. I'm really happy with it. I'm sure you can hear me breathing on it now. But anyways, I also got some my home gym stuff coming today, so I'm super excited. But in the meantime, I wanted to do something a little bit different because I don't have my charts opened up. OptimusFlow is available to everybody now. So you can go over to Optimus Futures website and get the trial right now if you would like. It is essentially a fork of a platform called Quant Tower. So I thought we would open it up and try trading off of that for a little bit. See what you guys think. So while that's loading, let's turn on the text-to-speech. There we go. How are you guys? There we go. Just needs to connect here now. Cool. All right, so here it is. It is so pretty. Wouldn't you guys agree? It is so good looking. So I'm going to try and get a couple of things. Let's try and build a few things. I don't know. What is this indicator that it's... Oh, Donchian channels. No thanks. Don't need that. So this is what? 5-minute candles on here? Okay, so we're right at 2600. There's a gap in the profile between 2600 and wow. Let's try and open up. Let's see here. Nope, that's not it. TPO chart. There we go. That's what we want. TPO chart. Oh yeah. How far back can I zoom out? Well, let me grab. Oh hey. Okay. Well, you can't really see it, but we're basically the top of the profile, and there's kind of a no man's land between here and 2700. I don't know if we're going to gap up between that. I need to figure out. Oh, we need more than 10 days, right? Let's go back the whole quarter. There we go. Okay. So now we can really see. There is like, you see this this profile here, and then there's like nothing between here and here. So this is a spot. I don't know if they're going to go for it or not. I mean, already when we look at the thing, oh look, we got these. Let's see here. Display. No, that's not what we wanted. We might have to go into all settings. Here we go. Candle. There we go. Give me candles. Yeah, so they're selling it. They're definitely selling it. With that, and getting below where we kind of ended the day and spent a lot of time in volume, I think that I would like to be selling today. So there's that. I really think that their time profile platform is the coolest looking thing. What is that platform? So this is OptimusFlow. You can go and get a trial right now. They didn't pay me for this, but they did give it to me. They gave me access to the platform for 3 months. Full access to the platform for 3 months. I'll go through. Well, actually, let's do that right now. Let's just go through here. Let me find the URL, and I'll tell you guys, because the thing that is so great about this platform is I think I still prefer Jigsaw and NinjaTrader, and I think that I'm going to continue to trade with that. AMP increased margins? Oh, they reduced them again. Cool. So now you can trade mess for 120. That's good. That's good. Here it is. Flow. Okay, so here it is. So if you go to Optimus Futures, I'll give you guys the link. So again, they're not, this is not like a paid stream, but they did give me access to the platform for a little bit. So keep that in mind. So there's the link. So you can see here, if you go down to the bottom here, I think they have the pricing. Yeah. So the thing that I really like about this is the pricing. So if you just want like the charts, like literally just the charts, free. Just have to have a funded account, which is awesome. Okay. And then for all of the things that you would really use, time, price, opportunity, volume analysis, that sort of stuff, all of the things that I use, $20 a month. And so what is Sierra Charts? Sierra Charts is like 30, right? Let's count AMP futures. I think this one, if you want the advanced thing, it's like a. Oh, I have to go. By saying. Okay. So for their Sierra chart with the advanced features, $36 a month, and that's what people have been doing. This gives you all of the cool features for $20 a month with the feed. So this is what I really like about this platform, and this is kind of why. Because if it was total shit, then I would just be like, whatever, Matt, I don't care. But for $20 a month, I think this is something, like Win, would be a good candidate for this. $20 a month, really easy to get started. And then there's other things like, let's see here, I think the power trades is just kind of like the detecting really big orders. Options trading for $40 a month. You can also get a lifetime license for not $1,000 essentially. Okay, is the DOM customizable to show bid-ask spread? Good question. Okay, so here's the DOM. I already have it up. Cool. So there is a little bit of customization on the DOM, but it's obviously not. It's not quite as amazing as what we would normally like to use, right? So I can. Where is it? Settings. Okay, so you can create a bunch of different profiles that are different types. So I could show like just the total number of trades that have happened at each price. Buy trades, sell trades, buy volume, sell volume. Do it by percentage of like the total days volume, which is interesting. A delta difference, so buys minus sells. Average size, average buy size. That'd be interesting. Let's add that one. So let's enable this and turn on average size. I guess it's only going to track it to us with the ones that we've seen so far. So that's one big thing that's missing from this platform is tick replay. They have tick replay. So like any kind of volume thing, you basically have to have it open to see it. Sucks, but range alignment left. They should have max of one trade volume. Hey, there you go. That's what I would like to see. Okay. So you can add like 3 little volume profiles here onto it. You can change the size of these. Like we don't. This doesn't really need to be very big. Make it overall smaller. There, like that. That's not bad. So order entry on this one. Oh, I should turn on the text-to-speech feature, by the way, while we're going through this. Oh, why is it not showing it? Oh, because I closed it. I'm so silly, guys. Curious how the market depth is compared to Bookmap, Sierra, and the Jigsaws. Yeah, so you can see it right here in the background. Can zoom. That's as zoomed out as it gets. So it is very, very like in. And then I can kind of do this. So I don't know. So from like a short-term perspective, I'd say it's pretty good. It was very much like Bookmap. There are things that I like more about the Jigsaw one. I think that on this one, I think I can add an indicator to it, can't I? Volume analysis, time histogram, right profile, time statistics. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, so that's stuff down at the bottom, I think. Cumulative delta on the time histogram. So there's things like this. Let's see here. On our 1-minute chart, do we get indicators? Add indicator. So let's try adding a couple of things on here that we're going to need. I'm going to want a simple moving average. Okay. Very nice. Do we get like a volume weighted moving average? Exponential. Okay. So that's something we got to add. So my understanding is that they're this is a fork and they're adding things to the platform and they're going to be creating their own indicators that you can only get through OptimusFlow. I might include my little number of level 2 changes thing right for it because it's pretty similar. I've already kind of done the programming footwork and seen that it's possible. So, anyways, but what we were looking for was to see if they had like cumulative delta, volatility, volume, level 2 indicator, delta rotations. So it looks like no, but we can make that. Curious. Oh no, wait, that wasn't a new message. I keep looking over here and I'm like, is that new? Is that new? It's not. So let's okay, so let's change this. I want this one to be 1 minute. This bind, unbind these. Okay. Make that one like that. Oh wait, what's this behind? Oh yeah, that was my TPO. I'll move that over to the other screen. Okay, another chart here. Cool. And we'll make this one 10 minutes. Okay. The way that it zooms is like the opposite of what I'm used to. Okay. Ooh, we're trading pretty Pretty volatile in this area, aren't we? What are our choices? Candles, bar, line, dotted areas. So I don't have a whole lot of choices there, but that's okay. Let's just make this just a little bit bigger. And then we'll add another DOM on here for the 10-year. Yeah. So I don't like the way that it does that. There's the front month one. I like that you can do that. I wish that Jigsaw did that you could just say always trade the front month, but I guess they're kind of saving you from yourself with that one, huh? Oh my! They still don't show the DOM in ticks. View. See if there's a setting or anything like that. It looks like there isn't. So we are definitely going to fix those. Okay. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm so surprised that it doesn't have it. There's got to be. I got to be missing something, but whatever. Doodah, whatever. We can. I just put that in my notes, and I'll tell Matt about that. And he'll be like, "Oh yeah, we should really fix that one." I do like so. One thing is that their DOM surface is relatively smooth, considering what they're drawing. That's pretty good that I can move it around. I cannot do that in Jigsaw. No way. No way. Okay, so I want to do. Well, let's switch these around so that I can see the ES a little bit better. I should take a trade. So the way that it works, I had to look up their documentation and everything, but the way that it works is you can hit clicking in this green column or red column is limit orders, and then if you want to do stops, so here's like a limit order. There's a limit order. I can tell it to not show that because we don't need that bit. Okay. Oh, didn't put me in, did it? Put it right there. Okay. So then you get the limit order. Oh, maybe we should make those columns bigger so that we can see that. There we go. Limit 1, and then I cancel it. It'll tell me like where my stops are. Oh, I did create one then. It doesn't have the static DOM, unfortunately. I think that you can. Oh, how can I drag it? How do I move up and down? What's this do? Oh, that I think is centering it. Yeah. Keeps it centered. And this must be. Oh, yes. Okay. That makes it static. Cool. That's what we need. Oh, you can add, those are the order controls. Anyways, if you hold shift and do it, then you get a stop order, right? And over here, oh, this is something that I like, is you can You know, in NinjaTrader, you can set up a strategy, of course, and you can set up that in Jigsaw as well. But just having it to say, oh yeah, most people, they just need to stop and take profit. I like that. Oh, okay. Now that I've undone that, now I can scroll up and down. Okay, cool. 2580. I don't think that you can like overlay. Oh, add overlay. Can add another instrument. It would be nice to be able to do multiple time frames on top of each other like we do in NinjaTrader, but that's okay. That's a pretty, even in NinjaTrader, that's not very, what is the word? Not very well done. Very beta. I bet you that if they saw some of the stuff that we do on our stream, that NinjaTrader would change the way that it works a little bit. What else? Right profile. Oh, that's cool. Okay. So I don't know what that does. Oh, I see. It's drawing a profile over here. You would need to change the colors on that to make that doable, because is that the time histogram down at the bottom? No, that's the time statistics. What are my choices here? Volume. Oh, kind of same things that we got over here. Cool. I do like this max trade. I like that. I wonder if there's anything you can sniff out from that. And have to figure out. Well, we'll just leave it up in here. So 86 had some stuff. And its price has been touched a lot. Interesting. What else do we got? We can do a watch list. Let's add a watch list. Oh, CBOT. There you go, ZB. Cool. Ads. We don't need last or bid ask. Actually, last is what we want. Volume. Wish it showed max percentage change and minimum percentage change. That would be nice, but watch list. So that's that. And then there's another one that's really cool. Where is it? Oh, so market depth. They have that. I think they just have that because Bitcoin traders like it, but I don't really find that useful. So you can see positions. So we'll open that a little bit. There's some more stuff. Oh, if we come up in here, there's more things. Forward curve. I think that's an options thing. Price statistic. Oh, cool. Very cool. Oh, and what else do we get? Ooh, I like it. I like it a lot. Cool. I'll just keep that up. I don't know where we put that. We'll just leave that there for a second. Market death, rating simulator, player history, strategy runner, information, RSS. Oh, cool. Load. See if it gives us anything. Cool. Built-in newsfeed, that's good. It's a very good feature. This is what I wanted. So wait, what is market heat map? Oh. This is just one of these things. Except for that you can make your own. Awesome. I like it. That's even better watch list. Although I wish they had add symbols. I wish I could just add like all of this. Oh, there you go. Oh, I can add all of these. Oh, NYMEX. Sweet. Gold, oil. Okay, cool. Everything is up. They're all green. Well, that's a little suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Get rid of the watch list they had over there. Okay. And down here, history exporter, market heat map, stat matrix. Yeah, stat matrix is the one I was looking for. Cool. So now we can see all of the treasuries. We can see the correlation with the ES. Almost pretty solid negative correlation today with bonds and options. Really good. Hate that it only shows you one half. That's like an awful lot of wasted space. There's got to be a better way to show that. I wonder, or at least show it the other way, the other side. You know?
Bot says you're like a kid with a new toy.
Yeah. The thing is we kind of already looked through this one time, so I kind of know what's cool and everything. I was kind of looking through. I was kind of trying to set it up to do some of the newer stuff that we're doing, and it doesn't have a volume weighted moving average. Or like, I like this SMA here. Okay, visible line. Maybe make it a little thicker. I like nice thick lines. Yeah, I mean, like that's it. Pretty simple. Oh, save settings as default. Cool. I mean, like that's it. So that's where I kind of get into like the thing that I like about this platform, and I'll just go through it again. I don't know if you saw this earlier, John, but oh gosh, I already closed it. The thing that I like about this platform is the pricing. Down at the bottom. So just normal stuff, free, but then, okay, DOM surface, volume analysis, which includes, your volume profiles, essentially. $20 a month compared to $35 for Sierra charts.
Bot says, does any of it help you read the market better? Does it make you take only profitable trades?
No, I don't think so. Like I was saying, I think that if you go into Ninja Trader, for instance, you can add so many different crazy things. This is a much less, I want to say, I mean, it's a newer platform. Let's put it that way. It's a much newer platform. There's a lot of things that you're going to want to have or maybe not even necessarily that you're going to want to have, but that are interesting to have that aren't in here. Like the big one that I found in that we were just going through is that I don't have a volume weighted moving average in here, right? Indicators, add indicator. We got all these channels, moving average. Do not see a volume weighted moving average, right? So that's
Winston's mom says good morning and how is everyone today?
good. How are you, Win? So it doesn't. So there's a couple of things that I think you'd want to have. I can't put cumulative delta on here. I got delta rotations. What's that? Up color, down color. Cool. Well, we'll just let that run. It must be how much moves up versus down or something. So yeah. But again, if you're just starting out and you don't need a ton of stuff, or you're not, doing anything super custom, I think $20 a month is probably your best deal out there right now. If there's a better deal out there, then let me know. But I know so many guys that have been doing Sierra charts, and I think that you would. You can't, if you're going to trade jigsaw style and you want to have the, how much traded at each price. That's one big thing that this platform doesn't have. But otherwise, this is a really solid platform for $20 a month, right? Like when you can go there. I think I put the link earlier on, didn't I? Yeah, or I'll just link you this page right here. This is when you should go and you can sign up for a free trial and try it. Because for somebody that's starting out and you're not programming and stuff, I think that this is a good
Speculator Seth says.
Sorry about that. We got disconnected. I don't know what the deal is with that. You know what? The internet's been a little bit shoddy in my area.
Bot says that link won't work. It's missing the last few letters.
No, if you click it, it gives you the rest of the letters. It just shortens it. It just truncates it, but when you click on it, it goes to the page.
Winston's mom says $20 a month is very doable. I will look into them later today and try to get something set up for maybe next week. And I will only sim for a while. Yeah.
So they got they got a free trial, right? Does it say about it up here? Yeah. So you fill this out and you'll get free trial, access to everything for 2 weeks. And then I don't think that most of us would, we're not doing options, so you probably would never need the all-in-one one, right? And then there's also lifetime licenses. You do it over here. No, where is it? How do I get the? Oh yeah, up here at the top. So I'm sorry. That $20 a month is if you buy a whole year. Otherwise, it's $25. But $25 is still really good, right? And then there's a lifetime license for professional is $500 for the whole platform, which again, great to start. Great to start. So, and you can get it free, which I believe with the free one even includes the DOM. You don't get like this surface thing or the time profile. You don't get this. This is something that I think is important to have. But overall, pretty good to start. So yeah. Like if you wanted like just compare it. If you wanted to do NinjaTrader, which I still think is probably the best overall platform. You're not going to get any of those volume tools unless you put out for the whole license, for the full license, which is like $1,000. Jigsaw, same thing. It's about $1,000. Sierra charts, you can get it, but it's $35 a month. Right? So it really is feature-wise, it's your best bang for your buck. So that's what I like about it. There are things missing though, but a lot of the things that I think are like critical missing, I just wrote down here, are definitely. And I'll tell. I'll give Matt those so that he has a chance to respond. I think maybe, I don't know if it'll be today, but I want to do like a more thorough review video. So, but overall, I'm pretty impressed with it.
Bot says I thought the volume profile tools were included in the lease version of NinjaTrader.
I don't, not the order flow one. Like the order flow volume profile, no. There are indicators that you could download that will give it to you, though.
Bot says the 3-month lease is basically the same as the lifetime version.
3-month lease, that's different. I mean, like I was kind of thinking more like the free version of NinjaTrader that everybody can use. You know? How much is the 3-month lease? NinjaTrader pricing. Free lease, Trader Plus. What is Trader Plus?
Bot says it's only the free one that charges you by increased trade fees.
Okay. The lease starting at $60 per month? That's what you're talking. Is that what you're talking about? Well, they got commissions. That's on top of it. That's one thing. But not so sure. But then the order flow package.
Bot says 3-month lease used to be $180 for 3 months.
It's saying that order flow plus only comes with lifetime. What if I come in to hear this one? No, it's the same page. Free, you can only do through NinjaTrader brokerage now. I don't know. I don't think that the lease really makes a whole lot of sense. From my perspective, once I'm spending more than $100 on a platform, you might as well just buy it. I guess if your life is not trading like myself, it's probably a different situation, huh? But for me, I don't think I would do that. So, anyways, I think he did pretty good. I mean, if there's a better option out there, then certainly tell us about it, because I'd like to know. But I'm quite impressed with what he showed, because when he came, with the way that this started, because I'd done a little bit of stuff with Matt Z, right? I wrote some articles for him and so forth, and he said, "Oh, we're making a new platform." And I was like, "Okay, well, I don't want to promote a platform that's total crap." So he talked to me and he asked me, what are the things that the people that come to your channel would care about? And I told him, well, the key thing is the pricing, because you got to get the order flow
says
stuff.
The nice thing about the 3-month lease is, if you decide to go for the lifetime license and you're 1 or 2 months into the lease, they'll apply the balance to your lifetime license purchase.
Okay, that's cool. That's good. But anyways, I was telling him to get the DOM and basic order flow tools, right now you're doing Sierra charge $35 a month. And if you can beat that, then you could do really well. And he did. So it's not the best overall platform, but it is your best bang for your buck without question. You can't beat the price point. And for somebody that's brand new to futures, I really am thinking that this is the way to go. And not only that, but then you get all of the resources that they have, because there's a lot of member only resources on Optimus Futures. They have just straight trading plans for you to take. I tell you what, man knows so much stuff. He's told me so many things. And a lot of people, you have these problems you don't know how to use a platform, you have trouble setting it up, and they're really, really good at that sort of thing. Whereas AMP, I found, even though AMP has okay support and stuff, they're not they don't always know what's going on. Usually when I contact AMP, I know what's going on first. Like I know what the problem is already. And I have to explain it to them. So yeah. Anyways, I think that's enough. Unless there's something in here like the feature that you want to see if it's in here. I'll wait. I'll give it a minute or two and see if there's any features that you want to see that are in here that we should take a look at before we go back to our regularly scheduled program. Got to say, I'm not a huge fan of the way the E-mini's been trading so far. What about, I don't have a chart for ZN. Let's add a chart for ZN up here. ZN is down. They're kind of doing this thing where, once again, like yesterday, where I'm not really sure I understand why it's going where it is. Especially the treasuries, the way that they just like dump is like so confusing to me. I should really start paying more attention to the treasuries because I really need to get in line. I really need to get in sync with what they're doing because some of their moves just seem so out of left field lately. It used to be the exact opposite. It used to be even he would move. I'd be like, well, what's with that? That makes no sense. Some of the moves in E-mini still make no sense to me. Yesterday's move, I don't. End of month buying, I don't know. But now the treasuries like the scalping. It's just like, what? It'll come out of nowhere. Okay, well, if there's no other things that we want to look at, then I'll close that. What was there last? I feel like there was something that I just wanted to write down, but I forget what it was. Oh well, we're good. Yes. Overall, I'm really impressed with it, though. Pricing is amazing. Seriously, when I looked at it, yeah, well, it was like first time I looked at it, I was like, well, okay, it's an okay platform. But when he sent me that email over the weekend, and I looked at their page and what the price was, I was like, oh wow, like it's perfect. You hit the nail on the head. Goldman Sachs cuts Q2 GDP forecast to negative 30%. 34% as many firms forecast sharp drop. Switch to my regular workspace.
Gary Rich says, well, good morning all.
Hey, Gary, how are you?
Gary Rich says, can't be better.
Can't be better. You have a good trade working out or something? When I open up this chart and then I start to see what the situation actually is, I'm quite surprised, actually. So we had pretty good downtrend all night, and then like literally as soon as we traded, it started moving up. Because I was looking over there like, oh, am I gonna maybe get a sell? And it never came. Back to 2600. Maybe we should update Jigsaw while we're at it too. 64 was only 64-bit version of Jigsaw now, huh? I really want to get this Gary Norton course. They talk it up so well on man, I haven't spoken to anybody that's done it yet though. Well, no, I've spoken to people who have taken his course and but only that one guy. I want to see somebody that's gotten it since it's been on Jigsaw and see what they thought. I just got too many other things that I want to put the money into right now. To dump $1,000 on that. Where is it?
Winston's mom says good morning, Gary, Rich, and how the heck are you?
How the heck are you?
Gary Rich says at bots, do you look at the difference in the cash session for imbalance points?
So I'm thinking here with my microphone, I think I want to move it down one notch. Get that nice and tight. Turn that up a little bit. I like that even better. I like that even better than what I had before. Does it sound okay? Just turn that a little bit. I'm so happy with the way my mic. Well, yesterday I was messing around with it, but what I found was that like the threads, they just don't match up. I even went to the hardware store to see if they had like something that I could like cut that would be the right thread and kind of like rig something together, but I just couldn't do it. But then I realized that this other older bass that I have that is really, really heavy is big enough that the standard microphone thread just fits in it. Like it won't catch at all. So I just took my other microphone stand and literally cut it with a hacksaw. And you got like this piece right here. Like that. It just fits into the hole. And then I put some like silicone and tape around it so that it doesn't really, I mean, I can still wiggle it around and stuff, but it's pretty good. You still get like, you can hear me on the table. I don't think there's really anything I could do about that. I would really need to get something that hangs to fix that. But for a Nest microphone, I think it's perfect. And I can I've always had my seat up a little bit more forward than the seat was intended to be used. Now I can be a little bit more relaxed, which I think will be good. So I'm just like so happy that it worked out as well as it did. I can kind of see, I'm just noticing here that we're getting that kind of currency correlation.
Gary Rich says at Mom, great. I wake up, no corona, dog has attitude, sun shines, stars and the moon appear. I'm a sucker for simplicity. Winston's mom says your stores are still open? I am not sure what is open around here besides the grocery stores. I checked some of our car dealers because we need to buy a car and they are open by appointment only.
By appointment only? Oh, wow. Yeah, I think pretty much everything is still open. Well, probably smaller stores aren't going to be open, but Lowe's is, Lowe's and Home Depot are definitely open. Those are essential services. Essential services. So I need to stop worrying about. I'm trying to talk
Winston's
down
mom
into
says,
it.
I hear you, Gary Rich. There is something comforting when there is no paradox of choice and life is quieter, simpler.
So a little push around here. We're getting a little bit of selling. I mean, they did turn. It's not like a straight up sell signal, but it's maybe a sell. We see these. I'm noticing that we get these in this kind of hour, and they can be a little deceptive. So I think it's better for me to just stay out for now, wait for the open and that first 15 minutes or so, and then kind of take it from there. No, I think that one up was better. I'm already like thinking about it and feel uncomfortable. It was like that, right? Yeah, that's better. That's right in line with my mouth. Now the treasuries are bidding up.
Gary Rich says Domino's Pizza 2 workers, no tables or chairs. They're a bit leery of taking cash. Lol, but it's true.
Oh man, yeah. Nobody's gonna want to take cash. We need plastic. It's going to be interesting if the government moves over to plastic cash. Or if the government starts using, makes their own cryptocurrency. Like adjusting everything.
Winston's mom says 15 watching now and I have to run for a few minutes. Please hit like. My son works for Pizza Hut and they have closed the restaurant, doing takeout and delivery only. See you all in a bit.
We'll see you later when. What's this one that John is showing me? It looks like he took a buy there. Definitely getting some odd action. I don't know, when we turned down, I remember I was saying, oh, that's pretty good. And then look, it snapped her back really fast.
Winston's mom says my son's friend works for Auto Parts and they had 2 people sent off for coronavirus testing. They did not test everyone, only those 2 workers. Close the store, so it's here now. I guess.
So there was everybody in Utah. The buzz in Utah was that a 24-year-old girl died. I guess she did have some underlying conditions, but a 24-year-old girl died. I think that kind of like made me think, the reality of it really still hasn't hit for a lot of people. Like if there was somebody important that they knew or that they liked that died from it, then maybe it would hit some people. You know what I mean? Like if Tom Hanks had died from it, then it would have, people would maybe take it more seriously. Or it'd have to be somebody, because it definitely seems like the red states are not as interested. The blue states, of course, because they have more immigration. They got it first, and they have more population density. So it's spread faster. And so, of course, New York ends up being the first hot spot. Donald Trump, I watched a portion of low-rated Very Morning Psycho Joe this morning in order to see what Nancy Pelosi had to say and what moves she was planning to further hurt our country. Actually, other than her usual complaining that I'm a terrible person, she wasn't bad. Still praying. That is, oh my gosh. Danny. Funny. I'm sitting here thinking about the microphone still, and I'm like, is it really that much closer? Is it really that much better? But then I looked down and I'm like, it's like 4 inches off of the desk. So it's a lot closer. These treasuries are bidding back up. There's a spot at 23 that saw a lot of volume earlier. I'm wondering what they're going to do from here, because this is like balance. They were up and balance, up, balance, down, balance. That's really interesting. In reality, it hasn't really moved that much since we started, though. We don't really have any super significant news either. These are all like tonight. Wait, why is that 6:55? Maybe my hours are off because of the time zone. That's probably 8.
Bot says sorry at Gary Rich, I stepped away.
Credit hedge fund suspends redemptions in sign of market stress. Wait. Yeah, that's not something that you want to see. Reminds me of that moment in The Big Short, where the guy that was short running his fund suspended redemptions, but then they ended up making tons of money in the end. I think that one of the best things about that movie, because there's a lot of things there's very much a thing like trying to place blame for the 2008 crisis that I feel is misplaced and that they don't tell the full story. But one of the things that I thought they did really, really well that a lot of people didn't know about unless they were watching the markets at the time was the whole thing about that there were certain guys that were like incredibly short the market and, had these big positions and had to unwind these positions when they made the money. And how these guys that had these instruments, good run up there in the E-mini, really got squeezed. Like the number came out and it was bad, and their securities didn't move the way that they were supposed to, and they were like, okay, well, we'll just hold on to them. That's the thing that's so amazing about that story, is that they were, you know, the resolve that they had to have to believe in their trade. A pretty quiet morning today, guys. I have to say, it is much quieter than it's been.
Bot says I really only look at the prior RTH value area high and low to see if we open inside or outside the prior day's value area today.
Oh, that's something that I look at too. I guess I don't really.
Gary Rich says I want to share something. If you take spot VIX divide by 16, that hash is the expected percentage move for the day on S&P. The same applies for VXD Dow VIX. Even implied volatility for a stock.
And divide by 16? So why, do you know why it's 16? I knew that was like the implied amount that it would move, but I always did it with options. Like I would look at, here's what they're asking for calls, and that's how much they expect the stock to move up in the next month or however long it is till the expiration.
Gary Rich says yes, it's the square root of 252.
Okay, and why does 252 matter? That doesn't really answer the question, Gary. So it's giving me a short again.
Bots says lately with the massive moves we've had it hasn't added a lot of value when considering my bias for the day. Uzi Knesset says how you like that OptimusFlow? Gary Rich says 252 trading days in a year. Bots says 252 trading days in a year.
Yeah, so there's still a couple of things in OptimusFlow that I think are critical for me to actively use it. But I
Uzi
think
Knesset says 252 trading days in a year.
okay. Makes more sense. Anyways, but I think that the pricing that they have for a beginner
Uzi
is probably
Knesset
the
says
best
face
out
with
there.
tongue.
Probably the best out there for a platform. So, okay, so we got a little bit of a buy there. I probably should have waited. But look at it. It's kind of like a slow creep down. I think they're going to give this to us.
Bots says lol, he didn't say oh okay until Uzi posted the answer. Uzi Knesset says I noticed that too lol.
Oh, Gary said it first. Oh, you all said it. Did it read it out 3 times? I wasn't paying that close attention.
Bots says nice snub for us there Gary, lol.
I think that was just because I was waiting for it to finish.
Uzi Knesset says I was just goofing on the repeats haha.
Well, that makes sense. 252 trading days in a year, and then you divide the VIX by 16, and that's how much they expected to move that day. So what is it today? Because I don't see that.
Uzi Knesset says so. The more new tools that come out, the more Stone Age Jigsaw is becoming a.
Nah. So the thing is, OptimusFlow is a good platform. It's pretty. There's a couple of critical features missing still. That's why I was saying the thing that I like about it, and the reason why I'm taking a look at it for us, in addition, because, first of all, because Matt Z from Optimus Futures asked me to do it, and he gave me the access to the platform for like a good 3 months to look at it. So, but then when I looked at it, it's good pricing. So, and I think that one of the things that I'm good at, or that people look to me for, is, figuring out all of the technical aspects of stuff, which platform should I use, that sort of a thing. So having a really good platform that I think is a good deal
Gary
for new
Rich
people.
says Jigsaw is just a bit slower with advancing new things, that's all.
Yeah. Now on Jigsaw, they are in the midst of like significant new features. And that's why they haven't put out a whole lot of like new stuff lately. I think that when they put that other stuff out, you're going to be really shocked at what they start putting out. So that is the second or third attempt moving up, and them failing, but they're not going in my direction. So I think I need to puke this. If they'd be so kind. I guess not. Which, by the way, I was going to close things down. Let's do that now. Now update Jigsaw. See, so they got a new version out today for Jigsaw, and it's all behind the scenes, like better memory footprint and things like that. Now look, there they go up. I really thought that was going to be a good short. I should have dumped that earlier than I did, though. I could have gotten -5 on that instead of the -15. Oh. Like it's waiting on something. Yeah, that thing sometimes with Windows when you're like installing something, and if you click at just the wrong moment, it doesn't kick you into the, hey, do you want to do this thing? Do you actually want to install something? So now it's going short again.
Gary Rich says I saw a pretty good add-on for Ninja via Bookmap. It impressed me and that's hard to do.
Pretty good add-on for Ninja? Like Bookmap made an add-on for Ninja or something? Yeah, we'll overwrite all these templates. I guess we'll shut down Ninja Trader.
Bot says in my opinion, given the number of trades being executed by the machines now, I don't know that an individual trader can actually see any better than a trader that doesn't have access to Jigsaw.
Well, you're wrong. Straight up, you're wrong. There's just so many things in the volume that even if you're not trying to trade on a micro time frame, that you're gonna miss. And I just think that it's really important information. If there's like a huge iceberg there, you not see that on the chart. That matters. It matters. It just does. And not to mention that it's just so much more efficient to enter your orders in there. But not only that, but there are a good number of people that are doing it on the really short time frames, apparently, that are actually doing really well with it. So I don't know. I don't know how they do that though. It's probably not something that's for me. So now they're selling it more hard, huh?
Dan H says, what do you think of the Super DOM series plugin for Ninja?
I've never heard of it or used it. We got everything. Oh, it didn't. Oh, now it is. I'm like, it didn't start Jigsaw for me. It usually does. We could look at it. I've seen a lot of
Bot
these
says
DOMs.
I've been trading since 2010, profitably since 2011-12 and have never used Jigsaw.
So? Does it mean that there's not a lot of information about the markets that you're missing out on? Trades that you're missing out on? Super DOM series.
Bot says so.
You'd have to give me a link for the plugin that you're talking about. But anything is better than the DOM that comes with NinjaTrader. And that's all I can really say.
Bot says not sure how you can say something as one-sided as that, Seth.
No, it is. It's not one-sided. Like, look, straight up, I'm telling you, if you are not watching the DOM, there is information that you don't have that has edge. Period. End of story. Doesn't mean that you can be that you can't be profitable without it. There are these guys that make money off of, some of the craziest technical analysis stuff. In many cases, when I've investigated what they're doing, their edge is not actually in the indicators that they're using. It's actually usually more in their risk management strategy and those things that are things that you could apply to any trade setup. Okay, so yeah, you can be profitable without it, but there is information that if you're not watching the order flow, you're missing, and it's important information. And there's a lot of edge in it. If I make my daily goal every day, how am I missing trades?
Gary Rich says I'm dropping Jigsaw for Bookmap only for equities access and abilities.
Listen, if you don't want to use the DOM, then don't use it. But I'm just telling you, there's edge in it. It sounds to me like you're trying to say, oh, just stop using the DOM. And that's never going to happen. Because there's real edge in it, and I really like trading that way. And most of these things, the issue that I always have with other things that people show me is I'll do it. I'll keep the stats on it. I'll create a backtest strategy for it. And then when I go and I do the backtest, the edge is usually not in the actual signal. I can't tell you how many times I've had that happen. Like the one when we're doing with edge, or with ace. If you take it every time and you're just doing one lot, you'll lose money. The thing that works so well for him is the multiple lots and letting it run. So it's his risk management strategy is what makes him so effective. Right? But when I look at some of the setups that I've had in Jigsaw, now the issue with it in Jigsaw is the kinds of trades that I've found myself through watching the order flow are very market specific. And so I'm having a hard time figuring out when I should be trading which strategy and stuff like that. And there are some markets like this market right now, I'm really not sure what to do about the treasuries. I've found some things to do in equities, but I'm not so sure about treasuries. But those ones, they have those are things where I can get a probability of 50% and make twice as much as I lose when I'm doing it, or even better than that. Some of these in the right environment work literally every time. Oh, what was this question?
Christoph Chesney says, hi, how much it cost per month? $50?
Which one are you talking about? So Jigsaw, it's $50 a month for the live license. The OptimusFlow that we were looking at earlier, that depends on if you buy a whole year or not, but the month is $25 a month. $50 a month for Jigsaw is pretty steep, I will admit. That's why I'm like, yeah, it's for your beginner, it's probably not that thing. If it's working that well for you, why are you not trading a live account every day? Because why would you trade this? Why would you trade this? I don't know. Maybe you traded on a micro lot, but when the market started falling apart, everything that we did fell apart. So this being what are you, John, what exactly is your thesis here? What point are you trying to make? Because I feel like you're just kind of being difficult now. Like, I think the real issue here is that you think that you have an edge on something else that I can't seem to prove that it exists or not. I've seen no evidence that it has or not. And then I have something that I found has, in limited markets, some edge, and you don't like it because you don't like the DOM or because you have some attachment to a certain platform or something. The once in a decade opportunity to trade volatility? No way. No way. I'm sorry. But when the markets are hitting 5% down limits, if you're a really big guy and you have a huge account and you can take that kind of a risk, then go for it. But for me and for the vast majority of the people that are going to come in and watch this stream, you should not trade that. I'm just straight up telling you, You're a retail trader. You're a small guy. Do not trade it. You will lose money. You will lose money. Just straight up. And I wish that I had realized that we were into that kind of an environment earlier. But I kept trading it. And now I could be trading it right now, but I'm not. I'm going to wait until the market is favorable again. Christoph thinks how to read it. It's moving so fast. You're talking about, how do you read the DOM here in the ES? Well, it's true that when it's moving really fast, it's really hard to read. But the thing that you kind of got to watch when you're watching these ones is you kind of got to watch over at an area. And you want to watch this one. So you notice that around this 2600, they're trading more volume than when you right. So here they're trading like 200s, hundreds. But then when they get up here, when they get down here, they're clearing it with like 50 and even 20 in some instances. Right. See, and then there's these little sweeps. But when you do this sweep, you still want to see, like, look, it's 427 at 2601. Right? In ES, though, the momentum matters a lot. So a lot of it has more to do with the price action. And that, I don't really have a very good framework to explain the price action for you, but it's something that just when you're in sync, you can just kind of feel. Right now, it still looks bullish to me.
Bot says I only suggested that Jigsaw is not necessarily the be-all and end-all for people to see what's going on in real time.
No, all I said was that it's pretty significant information. It's just a tool. There you go.
Gary Rich says Jigsaw or any other platform is a tool to assist, not the Holy Grail.
There you go. Yep. I just remembered the reason that I used this was because when I went to what is considered to be the best traders, when I worked at Goldman Sachs and I talked to them, they said use a DOM because we use a DOM and that's what you need to be able to see the stuff. Of course, you can't trade the way that we trade. A retail trader can't trade the way that they trade. But the DOM is the only way to see what those guys are doing. Well, I shouldn't say the only way. It's the best way to see what those guys are doing.
Bot says in any case, the S opened inside yesterday's RTH value area and looks to be trying to test the prior RTH VPOC.
Yeah, I'm noticing. Well, when was this the open right here? I didn't really track that very well. That was right here. Note the thing is it's been really dicey since it opened.
Dan H says I own both Jigsaw and trading order flow products. I am still comparing the two.
I think John says that we're below the open.
Bot says but at the moment it is trading below the open.
Yeah. Right now it's like a sell. Like if I was going to take a trade, actually I can't take a trade at all. So right now it's down and my longer time frame says up, but then this 10-minute bar says down. I think that on feel it would be a sell to me. I don't know if 92 makes sense though. Jeez. If they come back up the other way, then I might get an up.
Twemdog says, Seth, which is more important to you, the price you're trading or the order flow at that price?
That's a good question. I mean, I think that what you're saying is, so when I'm thinking like the price, I'm thinking like within the range and the last area that I saw balance, how close am I to the edge of that I'm getting good risk reward. That's really important. But then there's also, you can see some sort of aberration or order flow at a particular place that makes you think that there's a chance of there being momentum and that you can take that and it not go against you. But those are both the things that I look at as a minimize your risk sort of a thing. So I feel like that they're just two sides of the same coin. But that might not necessarily be what you meant. Okay, so 92 wouldn't have been too bad. See, it's down, but this other, it's going to have to go down quite a bit more for it to actually be like a straight up sell for me. 2602 half was the ES Open. Prior VBOC was 2611.
Gary Rich says at bots, do you who Mark Fisher in his book Logical Trader as? I'm sure you know who he is and his strategy.
Mm-hmm. 2587. Well, that push down below here is significant. Don't get me wrong. It's just the spot where I could have sold it at, which was really back at 2597, was not. I could not legitimately take a trade there, and I could take it. Well, like here it's saying 89. Well, what's the chance that it goes through that, right? There's a little bit of resistance there at 90. Is that one? But see, like, I'd rather see it fail first. I'm sorry, I didn't read that last one.
Bot says I've heard of him, but never read any of his books. Should I?
Okay. See, that's still negative, man. Did I just take it as she goes? I was slow on the draw.
Twemdog says, put differently, would you rather trade a price which doesn't have the associated flow at it, or the flow which happens at a meaningless price?
I think that when you're seeing flow, that it's going to happen anywhere, and that it happening at a significant price might actually be a reason to ignore it. So, like, if I'm looking for icebergs, for instance, okay, just as an example, iceberg is kind of a flaky edge because there are some environments where it's going to reverse on the iceberg every time, and there are some environments where it's going to go through it every time. Okay, but if you're looking for an iceberg and you come up to the VWAP, there's always an iceberg at the VWAP. So you see an iceberg at the VWAP doesn't mean anything. Man.
Gary Rich says at bots, yes. Your stuff and strategy is right there with him. Ninja has some of his stuff coded up on the Ninja forums. Your stuff reminds me of his strategies.
Man. I'm so tempted to sell it there at 84. Yeah. It's just not a very good risk reward. I traded a lot there. Actually, it's trading a lot here. Okay. That's a pretty solid up move. Could maybe try fading that one. There's definitely some sort of an iceberg or something down in there. Still struggling there. Oh man. I think I'm a little bit too late again.
Bot says thanks, I'll look into it. I'm not too old to learn something new. It's a bad day when you can't learn something new.
Yeah, that's true. I think the thing that I struggle with is just there's so many different things to look at, And how do you determine which things are worth really doing the deep dive on and which things aren't? You know what I mean? Um, I think like the chance that a an idea or a strategy that somebody else shows to you has edge is not something that I've been able to uh, figure out. So to me, it's just kind of random. It's just like, well, we take stats from it for a while and see what it tells us, and then figure it out from there. And there are some things where it's like I've looked at it before, and I wasn't able to find edge in it, and then somebody else insists that it has it, and then you're like, well, are they doing something different? Was it they were getting edge out of it, but not for the reasons they think? It's that sort of a thing. Okay. Oh man, we might have to dump and flip. Oh, good. Could actually take a second contract there in some situations, but not. I don't think my risk right now that I should. So bouncing again. They sure ran out of steam up there. Ah. Okay. So 82 has something behind it. like to see them test them harder. Okay, now that might actually be, I think I should flip on that one. Oh, maybe not the best price. Yep. Okay. No, that's a little better. Good. I wish I had gotten taken the profit on that last one, but at least I saw it turn, And this one might cross our line over here, so I think I should try and keep it. Okay. Oh, interesting order flow up there at 25.90. Probably some profit taking there, I guess. What are we getting on this? Okay. That's like my best case scenario. Oh, it would be 2600. No, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to get up there. Well, I guess we'll find out. This spot looks like somewhere I should take. Yeah. All right. Well, I missed it. Now we'll see what they do. Looks like we're in for a wild ride, though. We seem to have reached an area where buyers and sellers are converging. Which means it might get a little messy. Okay. The buyers take it higher. Yay. Oh, very nice. Still there. Up at like 25.94.50. Okay. Wait. Aggressive seller there. Okay. Well, that was interesting. There's somebody at 94. Like when it moved down, he clamped down on it at 94. We get above him. Thank you. Well, maybe we'll actually get it. It's trading awfully. It's awfully wild here in this area, though. I mean, obviously, it's not nearly as volatile as it's been, but I'm getting a lot of 1 minute candles right next to each other with wide ranges. I think I'm gonna get it. They hit into me and Sim didn't say that it was filled yet.
Bot says looks like prior RTH value area low held pretty well at 2,580 half.
Yeah. Well, it's really... the way that whole sequence of events, the way that I ended up playing it, I thought was really interesting because you can see there's like a much longer moving average. And you see we were down, so I said, okay, I guess I couldn't sell it. I actually made a quick 30 off of that one, and I should have taken a profit there. But then they came back around this, and so I flipped the other way. But look at how volatile it is. Like, these 1 minute candles are just like, look at each one of these is like 87 to 94. So each one of those is 3 points. Like this one is 4 points. Traded back and forth there a lot before finally resolving higher. So it was like the sell came in for just a brief moment and then ended. And I was able to see it. Now the thing was, is when I was watching the tape over here, it's hard, it's a little difficult to see, but the thing that I'm noticing here is when it comes down, you'll see a spot right here like this. See, it's trading 35, 27, 37, okay, 50. So he's right here right now, right? And on the upside, there's somebody. Uh, they're just pushing through them, but these are like all profit taking, right? You notice that they don't really get that spot so much. Okay, maybe right here, right? But look at the way that it does it. Like when they probe it on the buy side, even if there's a big thing, they usually go through it and they probe it a little bit more. Versus on the downside, as soon as you see it, okay, 200, see it right there? Okay, that time they actually went through it. But it wasn't, they didn't immediately go through it, right? They had to fight it a little bit, and now it's going through it, and then it's coming back through. Versus this one, you'll see it, they almost immediately go through it, then maybe they come back. So it seems like that the buyers were holding it much better. Now, something did just change. Oh, that's 450. That one's interesting, but that's at the VWAP, right? So that one doesn't matter. Anyways, I don't think that I could have seen that just from the order flow. But when I saw that the momentum shift was happening, and then I could see the absorption in spots, that gave me a lot more confidence to hold it. So, and on the volume profile, John is pointing out something pretty good, that you've got this area that started last Friday, and then this area where they ended at right here. And we're kind of just stuck here. And there's this gap above us. And so far, that, what is that arrow? What the heck? There's a gap, but they don't want to take it. There's a gap, but they don't want to take it. At least not yet. I mean, I think that what's likely to happen. Let's try and draw out a couple of scenarios here. I don't think they're going to take it. I think that this is like end of month buying, that we maybe we come back to here, and then that's what I think is going to happen. But then the other one is we could come back through and take off. But it's like way too late in the session for a scenario like that to be playing out. It would really be something else if they did it. But I think that scenario is pretty low right now. Or they just, those are my three most probable scenarios, I think. This one would be 1, 2, and 3. Actually, it's probably more 1, 2, 3. So the balance is probably more likely. So the balance of this one would be 1. This is, here, wait, let's clear. Brain's not working all of a sudden. 1. 2. like that. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen.
Krzysztof Szczesny says, can you working more with order flow in the future? I still learn.
Absolutely. Well, I mean,
Krzysztof Szczesny says work.
Yeah. You know what, Christoph, I will try and pay attention to that a little bit, or try and talk through that more. I haven't. The thing is that I used to really, really watch it in the 10-year, and I would really give the play-by-play of what I was looking at in the 10-year. But then all of this volatility came along, and all of a sudden there was so little liquidity in the 10-year that I really couldn't suss out what was going on. So we kind of moved over to these strategies in the E-mini, and we got a good idea. But that's kind of what I'm watching for, is like there's going to be a line. You know, each side is going to have a line, right? Here's this guy's line. It's being probed right now. And then this guy's line was up here. Okay. So I'm kind of paying attention to when they push the line, and usually they do in the E-mini. How do they behave afterwards? Right? Does it just kind of probe it a little bit and then turn? That's good for that. That means it's more likely to hold. That one, they probed it pretty good, but then they ran out of steam down here. So it kind of seems like that the buyer has relinquished control a little bit, but the sellers still don't have any oomph to trigger a shift in momentum and turn it down. Oh, you know what? I had it on the wrong spot, so you didn't even see any of that. Oh my gosh. So let me do it again. So here, now of course they move up. Yeah. So here's a guy just put something right there, right? So this is a line, and this is a line. Okay, so now they're testing it. Let's see how.
Winston's mom says, I'm not too old to learn something new. I like this spots. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. Benjamin Franklin.
Okay. So this now the next thing is usually not like a straight line. It's usually like a range of prices, right? But we should change this so that it doesn't move on us. Auto center ticks. Let's make it like 24. Okay. So here, some profit taking. They went through it, and now they're finding more support. So they're going to move up to the next section. Probably. So that was right here, right? Okay. A little bit right here. Right here. So at that time when they went through there, they came right back up, right? And that's just kind of how I'm reading it, to see like which side seems to be more aggressive, which side seems to be able to hold it better.
Bot says thumbs up.
And I think you got to be careful, because when you watch order flow like that, you might have a tendency to think, look, this is holding it right here. It's totally, look, they failed that. No, it's totally a sell now. It's totally a sell now. Like your mind wants to think that. But what is the trend? Over here is clearly telling us that buyers have been in control for a while, right? Okay, so a little bit more fight there now. That's different. Now it's a cluster in an area. That's a very different volume cluster in an area. So now, if we move up here, you'll probably get another good stop run, and if we move down here, you probably get a good stop run. Let's see what they do. Okay. Well, the sellers seemed to get a little bit more out of that than the buyers did. Look at that. So now, okay, so there's a point right there, which is at 14. That we want to watch. There's likely to be support there, right? Sure enough. Okay, so now we'll see if they really bounce or if they test it again. If they test it again, then we might get a little bit more down. Nope. They're forming another cluster. So for the moment, it's still kind of this thing where it's like they're letting the sellers have it, but then when they get to the point, they can't. They can't. There's not enough left for them to jump. So that's how I try and read it in the E-mini. Whereas in the 10-year, you're going to see it like literally at one price, and you decide how they're going to test that. Okay. Well, 21 is pretty good up. That's not the high for... Oh, it is the high for the day. I think I'm done. I already made my $50. $50, twice the average true range. I gotta tell you what, though. This right here. That volume weighted average
Lucas says
price.
morning, guys.
Hey, Lucas, how are you? That volume weighted average price I find so
Lucas says,
useful.
did I miss some news?
No, I don't really have TweetTag up. COVID-19 death toll has now exceeded 3,000, more than the number of people who died in 9/11 attacks. Get our news in real time, says First Squawk. I don't think there was any news. I think that you're just getting a technical move today, Lucas. One of the things that's going on is it's like the end of the month
nice
and the end
rally
of the quarter.
and it's going through some nice volume too.
Yeah, exactly. So where I was just pointing out, so we were just coming over in here. I have a volume weighted average price, and I kind of use that to tell what the short-term order flow trend is. And you notice they come right to it. And there was reason that they could have, extended. And there was a cluster, and like if the sellers really pushed, we could have done that, right? But they never do it. It's like it took everything they had just to get it to there, and then they take their profits, and we move back up. New high. And the thing is that I really don't see... We're now in no man's land, right? Like there's literally nothing, almost nothing on the chart.
Lucas says, yes, lol, nice tool.
There's almost literally nothing on the chart all the way up to 2,700. I guess there's still this high over here. So 2634. So I guess we're not completely at the top. Remember that the scenarios I was looking
Lucas
for,
says
it's already
yes,
happening.
can't really join the rally at this point.
So here's our pattern. So I was saying you're either going to do this, or we're going to do something like this, or we're going to do something like this. Those are the most, not the only cases, but probably the most likely cases in my experience, at least. I don't have them backtest or anything like that, but that's just kind of how I see it happen. Can't really join the rally at this point. Oh, what happened over here? I mean, there's probably
Lucas
still some
says I do expect some
but
profit taking at some point and some ranges to form at these levels.
looks like they've built up a little bit at 23. Always look at that purple line to see in the past, minute or so, where's all the volume traded at. It's kind of a good reference point. CDC Director Robert Redfield on what he's learned about coronavirus. The virus does have the ability to transmit far easier than flu. It's probably now about 3 times as infectious as the flu. CDC Redfield also says 25% of the people who get the coronavirus are asymptomatic. 25%. Well, it's got to be way. I bet it's way higher than that. See you guys in the channel. Nice run on the indexes. Okay, so now they're trying. Okay, so here's the spot. Yeah, okay, so they failed that. So now the very, very short-term volume has just changed. So now let's watch the DOM here and see if it backs up what we're seeing, right? Okay, line right there. I'm getting a signal. That one is short right here. But they're not really probing it yet. Notice how quickly it comes back up above that. So it's still kind of defending on the bottom side. Okay. So there was the larger turn and they didn't go for it. I think if we had still been in a position, like if we had held on before we got to 2600, that would have been a good spot to get out ahead of that. Man, did I really get out at 26? I got out at 25.99. They moved up after that so fast. That was so fast.
Lucas says don't be shy, Seth. Show yourself.
Oh, I keep changing it between the screens and forgetting. Man. Yeah, I got out at 25.99 after I got. The way that I looked at it was the range is 5, so if I get 10 points, then that's my goal. But look at that. I could have gotten 30 points out of that.
Bots says LSE open to test at 2626.25.
There's definitely resistance here. I mean, we've gotten a stronger sell here than we have anywhere else, but it's just kind of, I don't know. It's here between 26 and 20, right? They're going to test it again. Let's see if they go for it this time. Maybe they crossed the line at least. So it does look more negative. In fact, I think I should be short here. Yeah. Oh, that's really bearish. So there was like a line down here. And they went down, and then they started absorbing on this spot, and then they pushed down again. So a little bit of a shift. They're still having trouble getting below, but a little bit of a shift, I think. There you go. I think I should have this reset at 16, not 24. I'm wondering if I should just change up my DOMs so that I use the smaller numbers over there in the ES, and then we could just fit like UB on there or something like that.
Bot says 2621.75 was prior RTH high.
Okay. I don't know if it matters so much anymore just because it already happened, right?
Lucas says don't quote me, but I like along here.
You like along here? Well, they turned down pretty good. Okay, well, they're trying. Buyers are trying to come back in now. We're right at, what is this? What is this line? Is that the overnight open? We're at the overnight open. Is that right? Yeah. We're at the overnight open. Well, I'm getting a little bit of mixed signals. It's still kind of telling me short term down, but I have a lot of things that suggest that the momentum for the day is still up and that after this filters out that we're likely to continue higher. Italy's Lombardy virus new deaths rises by about 381. Oy. Okay. A pretty strong uptrend right there. And the volume is shifted. Okay, now here's where they're touching the line. That down move was pretty good, but that would be sufficient. Like that could be it. That could be over. Okay, now it's telling me to buy.
Krzysztof Szczesny says any experience with volumetric candles, NinjaTrader platform.
Oh yeah. So yeah, volumetric candles. I love those. I don't keep it up on my my workspace all the time, but it's kind of something that's more like when I'm looking overnight and I really want to see something. And let's do it over here so you can see me and everything. So let's add one here on the E-mini, right? So we could do volumetric. And I think that I kind of set up a template. Let's see if it does it right. But we should do it based on like a 60-minute time period with the things down here.
Lucas says out and maybe two sun.
That was a good trade, Lucas. What was it about that price that I helped you identify it as a buying area? Wait, I don't. It's not doing. That's not saving the template the way that I wanted. So I like to have the profile. Is the big thing. There you go. I also like to have the where is it? Show bar statistics. Oh, and we don't need all that. We just want to see. Oh, we want to see the volume and the delta and the cumulative delta. That's what I look at. Okay. Oh my gosh, there's that yellow. It makes it impossible to read anything. This max should be like what would go good? Let's say cyan. Oh, that wasn't it.
Lucas says well I was expecting a range due to profit taking and not a full meltdown, and it was at the lower part of that volume profile between 12.50 and 15.00.
Oh, okay. Color for maximum, that should be yellow. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now when you look at the profiles, you can kind of do that same kind of analysis, right? All right. Here was a line in the sand. They probed it pretty good, but then sputtered out over here. And look, they're doing the same thing. Like they're trading up here. The sell comes in, but they sputter out. It's kind of doing this. It's kind of doing this pattern over and over again. So the way that I look at the volumetric candle is the same way that I look at the order flow. When I'm on the DOM, I'm just it allows me to look at it over a wider time period, or like when I wasn't there, you know. So now I'll give you a couple of tips here. So one thing that you can do, because you can't really even read the numbers, is you can come in here and there's a where is it? There's a property that allows you to group them together a little bit better. Which is it's probably at the top. Yeah, ticks per level. So let's set that to 16. So 4 points. There you go. So now you can kind of read it a little bit. Now you can actually read the numbers. You can actually see the imbalances. But you notice, volume-wise, not really a lot of big imbalances this morning. Let's just start from here. I'm not really seeing them, right? It's kind of pretty balanced profile. It just looks like the buyers want it more, right? Like they're meeting each other, but the buyers want it more. Versus, someplace where you might see an imbalance where like buyers
Bot says,
are really
can you put the candles in the middle of those profiles?
I don't. Oh, yeah, I think you can actually. I think you can. I think that you have to do it as Center open and close bar, is that it? Yeah, there it is. There you go. And there's the outline and stuff. Why is does it not give me a different one for the wick? I guess it doesn't need to show me the wick, but.
Bot says looks a little cleaner.
Yep. There's some other things that I like that I've been doing, like these.
Christoph Chesney says, can you do 5 minutes? I am looking edge smiley face. Bot says I don't think it shows wicks and tails.
Yeah, I don't know if it does wicks and tails or not. Show imbalance, diagonal. Yeah. Okay, so you will see a couple of imbalances. I don't think that I really care about diagonal. I think I want to do it like that. Okay, so here, for instance, they're showing an imbalance at the bottom here. There was, even though it was only 1,500 contracts, there was some iceberging down here at the bottom that supported it and kept it from moving down. Okay, what were we saying? Oh, can we do a 5-minute chart? Yeah. So we could come back and we could do it on a 5-minute, sure. Oh, did it? Oh my God. Tell me. What? All that, I just ruined it. On a 5-minute, we might be able to do more like that, sure. Okay, so let's fix everything back up the way that we had it, right? Bar statistics. Volume, delta, cumulative delta. Show as a profile, show imbalance, horizontal, and center open close bar, apply. Very good. Very good. Save. Okay. So it's a little harder on a 5-minute bar. You can still, on a 5-minute bar, you're going to notice more that there's going to be like this, right?
Bot says they're still hammering their way higher at the moment.
Yeah. Maybe they're going to do my scenario 3 after all. I did, there is that fund buying at the end of the quarter, right? That really could be a significant portion of what's going on. Because when I was seeing that action yesterday, I was like, well, I don't really know if I see any reason for this. But the kind of the flow that we're seeing right now, I think that's a really reasonable explanation for it, yeah? I don't know. Candles are really hard to read when you get into this, like 5 minutes, because you're so close into it. And that amount of volume might not matter. Like when you're talking like 1,000, right? Like for instance here, 1,000. Like one guy could trade 1,000. That's possible. So you probably wouldn't do it all at once, but I think wasn't the fat finger trade that triggered the original flash crash? Wasn't that like 600 lots all at once? One guy could trade 1,000, but he wouldn't do it all at one spot. But I really think that these work better.
Bot says I don't know, but I have a picture of the queen with 2 corgi dogs.
I think that these work better on bigger time frames, so I really like an hour. I like to look at it from an hour perspective because I've noticed that there's a tendency at the bottom of the hour in the equities for there to be a little fight. It's like they're always looking to see what's going to happen there, and um, they fight over which way it's going to go. Anyways, but this right here, this ticks per level is so helpful. So helpful when you really want to look at it on a wider time frame, you know. But like I said, I don't know. I mean, you can trade off of these.
Bot says, have you tried a 30-minute volume ladder to coincide with the standard market profile time?
I'm not sure what you mean by a volume ladder. I mean, I have my regular volume profile chart, this thing, right? Or are you talking about like for every 30 minutes draw a volume profile and do it that way? I don't know. I was messing around with charts. You want to see this? Let me show you something kind of weird. So if I come here and I do...
Bot says you call it a footprint.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're just saying volumetric bars, but with 30 minutes instead of an hour.
Bot says Ninja calls it a volumetric bar.
I mean, 30 minutes works too. I haven't like done a study on it. Lately, though, I've been looking at it on an hour basis because of that whole thing that we've seen where it seems like at the bottom of the hour they do something. But 30 minutes would be probably just as good. You can get a little bit more disaggregated. So we wanted to do minute bars. So like if I do a 1 minute bar, let's just say, and I'll do it as with our boxes. Multi-period candles. Cool. And then I do it again. And this one, I make like a, well, let's say that they're 30-minute ones. Okay. 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 So we got these, right? Wouldn't it be great? Oh, wait, let me change something. I know that John doesn't like to do it this way, but I really like the draw high-low box.
Bot says I call it a volume ladder because the guy at Market Delta, now bankrupt, took his volume ladder from Investor RT in some kind of licensing deal.
Oh, really? Market Delta went bankrupt? He was a nice... I always thought that he had good information, but I kind of felt like that the tool that they were promoting didn't have enough separation when everybody else jumped on it.
Bot says so I don't like to use his footprint terminology.
Oh. Okay, so I got this. Wouldn't it be nice if we could draw a volume profile? Oh wait, I don't. You're not even. I'm so dumb. Okay, I'm over here. We're over here. Wouldn't it be nice if we could draw a volume profile inside of these bars? Yeah. Let's try it. And this is where we run into issues because the order flow volume profile right here, it has some things where they say if it's on bars. So here I can have different things. So I can do a session. Okay, obviously I don't want the whole session. So let's do bars. Okay, so we could do it on one bar. For instance, we could do it on one bar and do it against this 30-minute one. Yeah. apply. And it does this. See how all of the 1 minute bars have gotten bigger now? So annoying. You can't zoom it out. I can go back here. It draws it on the wrong side too. So that doesn't work. So then you can do this. I'll show you. Here's one way that you can do it. That works a little better. Is I can come in and I can go, okay, let's just do it on the 1 minute one. And then just do it every 30 bars. Okay. How about that? A little bit better. Oh, we got to fix some things here. Okay. This needs to be should just set that to be the default. Okay.
IDK says, Seth, do you know the funding program of SMB Capital?
I have not looked into it too much, but it's another combine. I mean, my whole thing is if you can go and you can put like $500 into a funded account, your own account, and trade micros with it, why wouldn't you just do that? Because you're an amazing trader and you think that you will get funded by SMB Capital? Good. Go do it. But
IDK says, I discovered it last week and they don't have trailing drawdown like the others.
Trailing drawdown definitely is a problem, but the profit targets is really the thing that kills those combines for me. They're not realistic profit targets. And which is kind of like puts a dampener on it, right? Like when you realize that, oh, okay, 30% in a month is not realistic, then maybe a lot of people wouldn't necessarily try to do futures if they realize that. But anyways, why is it not out? So that's so weird. Because I got it on, here's on the 30 minute. I got it on the right template and everything. So weird.
IDK says the drawdown remains the same, 3,000, and the profit target is 5,000. I think you can pass it easily within 3 months or so.
Yeah, if you did it within a couple of months, you might be able to do it. Oh, let's try this. That didn't change anything. I don't know why the profile's not. Oh, maybe it's in the. Maybe there's something in the indicator to change it. No. Well, it doesn't matter. The thing that bothers me about this one is where it will start to do the
IDK
profile
says
and it never
obviously
lines
reaching
up.
the target in 1 month is unrealistic and would be like gambling.
Yeah. So like you see right here, here is 8:15 on this chart, and the profile starts drawing at 8:16. So annoying. So I drew these out and I was kind of like, oh, well, maybe I don't know if that's terribly useful, but it's there. You can use it. I tried doing like, can you display this over top of volumetric bars? The answer is no, it doesn't work very well. So I think that when you're trying to put multiple series on top of each other, there's some work that NinjaTrader could do.
Bot says it has to start on the 8:16 bar.
Yeah, it's so annoying for me though. Why would I want it? I want it to start at the 8:15 bar. That makes no sense to me. But I don't know why it's starting at the 45. That's also doesn't make sense to me. It should start
Gary
right there.
Rich says pretty colors on that chart. Bot says the 8:15 bar closes in your prior 10-minute period.
Yeah. Whatever. It doesn't make much sense to me, but The gist of it is that to have the little profiles on here, you gotta do things just right. You gotta do it just right. Because the indicator was they never anticipated that you would do that. But I kind of like this. This is just as good. Have a volume profile of the whole session on the side of your chart, and you can kind of see if you were coming into an area. Same with, it's just like what you see in the DOM, I guess. But see it over there. I really like this setup. These two DOMs and this chart have been working really, really well. I have had some days where I've screwed up. I don't think this is the best environment to trade it, because there's still if we could just look at what we did today, okay? So this one, it went 9 against us. This one, it never went against us, but it completely retraced quicker than I reacted, at least. It was kind of a slow motion train wreck, really, wasn't it? Because I really should have gotten 30 out of that one. And then this one, that one went 10 against me. And I want it to be like 4 against me. 4 to 8. So it's still like there's this tendency to for it to fight it really hard right now. So it's kind of seems like the strategy is not, you got to pick your spots right and everything and have a wider stop for it to work. So I still don't think that I'm in a position to trade it, but I'm getting winners and I'm coming out
prices are in
profitable.
positive territory in the YM, NQ, and S now.
They're still at 23. That area that we identified as they're kind of being a turn, and now it's just kind of gone sideways from there since then. So I don't know if they can really meaningfully make a run for, well, I mean, I guess there could still be something going into the close, but 2650, at the moment, it doesn't look like they're ready to go for it. Man, Dan Boingo. Donald Trump. So there's been this thing in the media where a couple of weeks ago, Kumo said that people were stealing supplies like masks and stuff. And then Donald Trump remembered that and repeated it. And now they're saying, oh, Donald Trump has no clue what he's talking about. And there's all of the headlines and quotes and everything out there and everything. And Donald Trump is retweeting that right now. That's what that's all about. All right. Oh, it looks like our just the what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I don't know. IDK. The question that I would ask yourself is, why do I really want to take a combine? Right? Is it because I'm a profitable trader and I'm doing really well and I feel like I could really make a living out of this if I just had more capital, and all I really need to do is prove to them that I'm as good as I am, and then they'll give me the capital? If that's you, then the combine would really make sense. But the issue is that the person that is like that doesn't need the combine. The person that's like that already has a big account because they've built it through the learning process. And so that's kind of the problem with the combine. If you're not that person, you maybe you have some things that kind of work and you think maybe this might be the thing that will get you to be serious enough and finally get going, and then you'll pass it and you'll be profitable and you're on the path to whatever. I say you're probably better off just funding a small account and trading a micro contract. Thursday night session and into Friday's jobs numbers are going to be a great
RJ
time.
Wheels says agree, Seth. If you can pass a combine on first try, you don't need those guys.
Yeah.
Gary
Oh, is it
Rich
really
says
still
tour night
giving
session
me-
and into Friday's jobs numbers gonna be a great time.
It seems like my one thing crashes. That's weird. Wait, let me see if I can find it. Oh, it's still there. Oh, there it is. I need to fix that so that when it gets to that daily limit exceeded, that it just stops. But yeah, they're preying on your optimism that somehow all of a sudden you're just going to magically make it, or that you haven't been trading for very long and you're suddenly magically gonna become an amazing trader. It's just not realistic expectation. It's just not. I'll read your comment about price testing the 25 to 30 area. That's why we try those angled lines on the chart. If you understand the bonding formations, then you know price discovery doesn't work on horizontal lines. Yeah, well, so if we come back over here, okay. So here's the open. Where are you going to draw your line? Because I mean, if you're drawing your line like this, if we drew the line from like here, oh, where would it be? It's F4, right? F4, yeah. From here to here, for instance. That's not really terribly useful because we're drawing the other line when we got up to the top. So obviously we would want to be further back, right? So there's that. That doesn't help. But the outside bar, we want to go from the outside bar to like an inside bar, right? Probably. Well, what do we got? We got some candles in here. So, oh, come on. There's the outside bar. I suppose there's an inside bar right there, but then, yeah. Like the whole thing is, but I guess the point of that is, you got to draw me a line that would have shown that was the top way before it happened. They almost always test a little higher and a little lower each time they come back to a level. What just happened there? I just totally crashed Ninja, I think. Making that chart bigger. I guess he's saying that my first little pick was correct. Switch it to the RDH only? I think we killed Ninja Trader. We're getting some good selling here now. Let me just close that. It seems to me that where Ninja will start to have issues is when you're changing charts a lot. Okay. So he's saying do the RTH only. So we could potentially draw from here to from the open to here. From here to here. I don't know if that helps, dude. There's 8. I don't know. There is this big one from the downside. Draw your line from yesterday's high to the first high of today. Oh, jeez. Come on, really? So from here to here? Or I make it big. Yeah, that works. Was that? No, 1600. RTH high. Now you just draw in trend lines. Here to here. I don't know. Like, here's the issue with this one. 26, 25, 50. Oh, okay. From that one to this regular session high, right there, like that. Oops. Like that. Oh, okay. 26, 25, 50. So that one right there. And yesterday's 26, 21, 75. Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty sure that I've got them right now. That's 26, 21. That's 26, 25. Why can't you switch that to RTH session? Because I like to look at it the extended session and I actually use this chart. Here's the thing. If your line doesn't work without the thing in there, then there's a problem right there, right? It's just easier to see it. I don't know. Anyways, here's what I was gonna say. There's kind of two issues with this. Number one is that you have to tell me how to draw the line, right? Like, we've tried drawing these lines so many times and it's always different. It seems like it's always different. It's just way too subjective, you know? If I can get a program to draw it, so if it was like, let's draw from yesterday's high to today's high, first high or whatever it is, sure. And then you use that as a line. maybe that works. But then the second thing is I'm not so sure about taking like that as like I don't think you want to sell it there per se. Maybe you could look at it as a potential sell, but that was much better as like an exit signal, right? But then the thing is like if it's an exit signal and everything else that I'm looking at, everything else that I was looking at kind of showed the same thing. And if I'm like drawing lines and I'm like keeping track of all these lines, and then my short-term signals just kind of tell me the same thing, then I might as well just keep following the short-term signals, right? But you should just take a picture of it and send it to me. That would be way easier. Because I'm not a believer in lines. Like one of the things when I was doing this earlier, when I was like, here's a spot right here, and here's a spot right here. Part of the thing that I was kind of trying to get across was that lines are meant to be broken. I don't think that's true. I think the difficulty is getting to understand the reason for the line. Well, I mean, I understand why you talk about the line, but I just don't see a consistent way to draw it, is the first issue. All we're trying to do is highlight an outside bar that isn't drawn by the software. Right, but if it's really an outside bar that's not drawn by the software, we should be able to identify it. But not only that, but you're trying to predict an outside bar, really, right? Really what you're saying is, here we have this movement here, but what we're really going to see is this, and then there's going to be an outside bar. And so we might see it come up to here and then back down to here. But if the software can't draw it, I'm not sure I'm interested. Seth, do you write down your levels for the day before you trade or take a trade? Not anymore, because every level that I'm interested in, the software will give it to me. I don't always load them though. I don't know. Like I didn't load these ones. Previous opening range high. I do have levels that I look at. But then at the moment, I'm way more interested in the opening of a time period. So where this 10-minute time period opened, where the hour opened, where the session opened, that's what I've been paying attention to more. But I don't write them down. I've basically anything that is important as a level to me, I want the software to give it to me. I want it to be drawn on here for me. Because what I don't want to get into is, okay, let's come in for the day. We got this thing. Okay, well, I know that yesterday I was really, really interested in the high of this session from before, but now today I'm interested in this value area low. Or like why? Like you're picking a different level every day. And you could have I could draw 1,000 lines on here and say, oh look, it reacted to this line and it reacted. It's a confirmation bias problem. If I'm gonna use lines and levels, then I have to say this is the line I can very clearly quantitatively determine where that line is and what the percentage chance is of something happening there. And I can actually collect stats on it. If I can't do that, then I don't see how you're trading. I don't see how I can incorporate that into my trading. Because if I don't have that, you have all this subjectivity, then what's going to happen is all of my biases are going to come in and screw it up. I'm going to have the confirmation bias. I'm going to say, today I'm using this line, but now I'm using this line. Or I'm using this line because it worked yesterday. It's just like, why? because it worked yesterday, why does that mean that it's going to work today? That's recency bias. You know? It's got to be consistent. Now maybe we can do that with those lines, but I don't know how you do it. I still don't understand how you're supposed to draw it. Like that because I was just trying before. It used to be there would be like an outside bar, and then we look for an inside bar, and I draw it between those. But now you're telling me previous day is high and this day is high, and it's different. How do you know that you're not just seeing a line that doesn't really exist? Except for in your mind. How do you know that it's a line that the market cares about? That you're drawing the line that the market cares about? There are market-generated levels that have no subjectivity. Well, yeah, I think you might have missed what I said earlier, Smash a bit, because my whole point was like, it's got to be something that I can programmatically determine, and that I can run stats on and prove that there's something significant about it. And that's what I've done. I've proven pretty conclusively that the open is a significant price. I've proven pretty conclusively that which one was it that was the highest? I think it was this bull bear zone thing. It was like no, it was the overnight opening range. That's what it was. This opening range. If we open above this opening range, the chances of us closing above this are like almost 70%, I think. Right? That's a line you can trade. It's not just about the opening range. There's more to it. Well, that's just a stat that I can pull. Let's change this. Let me try and come up with a better framework here to judge things by. If I cannot grab out a specific statistic about the edge, then it's not a tradable edge. There you have it. So one thing that might make it so that I can't get that stat is that it's up to your discretion and it can be different. And in that situation, maybe you just have to enumerate out all of the rules and you can program out all the rules and it's possible. But if we can't do that, then it's not tradable. Not for me. Because I need to see a stat that tells me that there's actually edge in it. Right? And the markets want to drive price to new levels off highs and lows of previous ranges. Sure. So what? You're going to draw every line that you possibly can on your chart and then say that they're probably going to go through those lines? But you're kind of contradicting yourself. A random level is no different than looking at a DOM and taking trades with no consistency. Okay, sure. So the way that you prove that one, Smash the bid, is you would take a specific setup that you see on the DOM, because the issue there is you believe that you're taking something consistent, but your ability to actually carry it out consistently and all of that is maybe questionable. So then what you do is you test it and you keep the stats for it, and then you look and you see, based on that particular entry setup, how well you do with it over time. So that's one that you can do. So if somebody comes to me and they say, here's a strategy that I use, and here I've traded it for at least 3 months, and these were the stats that I got out of it, then that would count. As long as you can give me a specific enough rundown of what the conditions are. It's still kind of the same sort of a thing. It's just in that case, it could be that like the conditions are too complicated for us to program, right? can I come in and I'll take a random DOM trade, and that might be me thinking that I'm taking a specific setup and I'm reading it wrong, or it could just be me just digging around. I don't know. I mean, I do that from time to time. I do that a lot, like especially lately. When we were taking those treasury trades, man, especially that time period like August when we were doing really, really well, it was a very, very specific setup. But then when that setup started failing and we knew at the point at which it was like no longer a good signal. So then why don't you program DOM anomalies and put them on your chart to make execution easier and consistent? I wish I could. I wish I could smash a bit. I do not have the knowledge to write those, because when I'm looking at it from a programming perspective, I can sit down and I can say, okay, I saw this particular level change by this much, or I saw this iceberg here. But a lot of the setups that I do are kind of more like, I'll see this, and then I'll see this, and the pace of this, and all of these things. And it's like this time-based pattern that to be actually, for me to actually like decipher it down into something to program, I don't know how I do that. Yes, if one could see a series of ranges and watch them drive it up or down, which is follow through or breakouts of a range, then you're just talking support and resistance, which doesn't work. But the problem with that was really back to, how do I define it in a consistent manner, especially with a level like I guess that's kind of the difference, is like when we're talking about a specific price, there should be a really straightforward way of determining that price. You know what I mean? Market profile shows you this. Well, I can identify the ones on the daily, but on a daily basis, sure. I mean, we've been doing that, right? Explain to me. We still got 10 minutes. Sure, I can see this. I can see this. I say, okay, there's some resistance here. What would have happened if we had broken through that? I mean, eventually it's going to do that, right? How do you know when it's going to do that? And you should take it. You know what I mean? Stretch it out. You mean like this? Mm-mm-mm. Problem with being with the flow is you have no idea if it's consistent. It's a brain trick. I stared at DOMs for a long time. No, I don't agree with that, Smash the Ben. I think that if that's your problem, then what you need to work on is your analysis. So I always say there's 3 edges, and that's it: discovery, analysis, execution. Wait, you can't see me. Discovery, analysis, execution. Discovery, finding a new strategy. Analysis, determining if that strategy has edge. Execution, executing on that strategy correctly and consistently. So if you come in and you say, here's a strategy, and you trade it for a week and you say, okay, it works, then that's not enough. Your analysis is bad. Because usually for a strategy like that, you might need to be able to go for 3 months, and then that's something that like you can trade maybe for that time of year, but then it might not be consistent through the whole year. And what you're probably going to find is you're going to have a bunch of different strategies that work in different situations, right? But you can go through and you can say, here's that strategy, and in the environments that it works in, here's what the probabilities are, right? Now you have analysis that proves, or it doesn't. I shouldn't say prove, but but gives you an idea of whether or not, of what you should expect to make from that trade. Order flow just verifies liquidity at price levels to move up or down. Sure. I don't know, when you're trading just off of order flow, you usually have to be pretty fast to do the just only DOM only trades. Now, Gary Norden has a course that supposedly teaches you strategies like that. I don't think that he's using order flow the way that we look at it, so it's probably a different thing. How many people do you know that do it off of the DOM? I've met many people that have shown me results that are consistent enough to say that you can do order flow trading successfully. And I've done it myself in periods. It's just like, edges don't always last forever, is I think part of it. But even this, I don't know, yeah, here's Ace is like the quintessential example here, guys. I can literally in less than a minute tell you literally exactly how to trade it and how it works. I don't go through the whole thing, but it's all there in front of you. And you take it, and if you allow your runners to run, or you have multiple contracts and you can allow them to run, and you have a good profit taking strategy a trailing stop or whatever, it is profitable over a very long time period too. Years. That's a fucking strategy, guys. Now what I've done a lot of them, I have things that work in particular markets, and can you correctly understand which market we're in to know when to take that trade? Sometimes. But it's awfully difficult. I think we've been doing an okay job with this one. I think with those, a lot of it was more, I think one of the problems that I've had is understanding when it's failing and not stopping soon enough. Because what'll happen is I'll make a ton and then it stops working and then blow it up. I really start tilting at that point. But it's like the same entry every time. John, I think, showed me the picture here. See, I'm sorry. Man. The right side of the chart. Okay. So I can see those two highs, sure, but how did you draw that line before it got there? We didn't. So it's useless. Unless you're saying that it's going to come up to that line again and you can fade that line, and then if it goes back and we can prove that over a consistent basis, that if we draw between two highs on a regular session, that's likely to be a resistance, and what the probability of that is, and that's different. So you have a profitable strategy with consistent execution. Well, I don't think that on this particular one that we have consistent execution yet. No, sir. Ace does, though. I've seen it, the results. And he's literally this is the thing that's so I don't understand. You don't believe it. But he not only has he been consistent, but he comes in and he gives us the trades literally every day for the past year and a half and showed us that it worked. And then he showed me how to do it. And now I'm just trying to learn how to do it consistently. I think this market, I tell you what, Ace, I've had some issues with this market. Well, I've been trading it well, but they sure fight it a lot now, more than they used to. Because I'm getting like 10 ticks average excursion on me. I drew that line at 10:30. Okay. Okay, so you're saying that you drew those two lines and you want to take it short there on the anticipation that it's going to fail that level, or maybe take profits there. I think taking profits there, that's a reasonable thought, at least. But Ace says agreed, and I blame you. No, it's just the range is higher. So are you drawing those between the highs, John? You saying I take previous day's high and then the first regular session high? And when I say first, like I mean like it comes back and it makes another pivot. That's the first one. And that's how you draw it every day? I understand the point. I'm not convinced, John. I cannot see. I don't think that it's in, like, I'm not saying that I think it doesn't work, but I'm saying that I can't prove it. So I see a line and you give me a line and I can't draw that line myself for starters. Unless this is a different setup that we're talking about. I'm only drawing the lines to highlight outside bars you can't see on that 5-minute chart. But how do you do that? You still gotta create a consistent way about doing it. Ace says, but agreed about letting winners run, you have to wring out as much out of good trades as possible. Yeah. So if it doesn't run, then you basically break even. Which is actually really good. That's what you want, right? But then when you let your winners run. So I'm not sure. So that kind of brings me to one of my conundrums with this, because I've been practicing it and I've only been doing it one contract and I'm getting better at it. But I don't know if I want to trade it with just one contract, So, but there's things that we can do. I think that if we want to do that, I just have to come up with a better exit strategy than trailing it. Now, I think that I have a little bit of a framework on that, and I'm still kind of testing it out to see if I can get it there. When you switch to two contracts, things change a lot, right? You're confusing yourself. I know you're a stats guy, but you have to be open to new ideas. Yeah, but we're looking at something that's new. But what you're telling me is that I can't analyze it. Here's my perspective. Let me back up, because maybe I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. My perspective is I've been given a line on one specific day. And saying this is trying to show something, this bigger idea, and I get that. But I want to draw this line every day. I want to be able to use it consistently. So if we can't come up with a way to use it consistently, then I really don't see how Seth can use it. Maybe you can use it, because maybe you have a better executive functioning brain than me. You know what I mean? But I can't do it. My problem is always going to be going off plan and getting distracted by something else that I see. I have to be able to make it, I have to be able to draw it out, So if we're having you can't just say, here's a strategy, just trust me, it works, now go and use it. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've been told that sort of a thing, and then when I start using it, it doesn't work. go for 2 points a day a month and then add in another contract? Yeah. So let me explain the way that I've been trying to do it, Ace. I look at what I've been doing this week at least is I have this chart right here. I make it big. So I've been using this larger time frame moving average as kind of my filter for if we're up or down. So today I would much prefer longs. There was a point back here where it was negative that I did try taking this short and I got a little bit out of it, but then it reversed on me. So that's this is the kind of the problem trade, right? Where it's like, I want to let it run and then it comes all the way back to my entry. Okay, but I did that one, like I knew I moved my entry back to stop even. Good. So then the next thing is I'm looking at how far apart the lines are getting, because I know that once we get to like 8 to 1, that you're starting to talk about a move that is maybe overdone. Okay. So that's number 2. Number 3 is average true range down here. And my goal has been, if I can get 2 times the average true range, then I've got a good swing and then I'm done for the day. So today, when I was trading this earlier, I think I took, so when this trade failed, I flipped. It was right here. I took it at 25.85. Oh, I don't know why I took it short there like that. But anyways, when it turned back down, oh, maybe it was right here. Anyways, when it came here, I reversed and I took it long. And then I took it to 25.99 because that was, at that time, average true range was 5. I got 10 points. Then I was done. And that's how I've been doing it. That's how I've been doing it. And then I also within a certain, like if I really see something in the order flow that seems really weird, or there's some level that I can see they're really reacting to it in order flow, then I'll take it off there. So that's how I've been trying to play it. I like that. 10 points is great. Yeah, it was good. And here you can see it. So here is the first one. I took it at 2,600 at the beginning of the day. This one make me mad because this one was actually right, but I took the exit. How much if you would have still had one contract sitting at break even? Yeah. See, if with this one right here, because look, that one I got 28 ticks on. Like I almost got. That one was great. But I didn't know when to take it off. I should have been paying a bit more attention because that one did like way overextend. But that one could have been a profit. That one should have been a profit. This one could have been a profit too, but I was just early. This is that it's fighting me more than it used to. But it, like, even afterwards, it still worked. So pretty good. And we did good with the past few days. There was that one day that we did bad. And the main reason that I did bad on that day was that was like a full tilt day, but 3 losers in a row would have just quit. Depending on software, to always drop for you is not good. Wow, what millennial laziness? It's not about being lazy. It's about being consistent and proving that it actually works. I mean, the thing is if you can't show me a stat, if you can't show me like some, like with your own performance using it, and probably you use multiple strategies, so you would really want something like Journalytics where you can categorize each one and all that stuff, right? How am I supposed to know that you're not just full of shit? Like honestly, how do I know? And I don't think that any of you guys are trying to deceive me or anything like that. I just know that sometimes we think that there's edge in something when there's not. And the whole thing is to do the analysis. Analysis is the second edge. How can we analyze this to show that there's a consistent edge in it? Can't prove if it works or doesn't work if you can't understand it in the first place. Well, I understand this much about it, John. We'll get bars like this on, like, let's say it's on a 1 minute basis. And every once in a while, you will get a bar like this. A bar like this is significant because they don't happen very often. They're like, like 20% of bars or something like that. I forget. I think I did a little bit of stats. Maybe, no, I didn't. I just counted it one time, but we could probably go and do stats. But this sort of a thing, it doesn't happen very often. There's also this sort of a thing, which is interesting. So what ends up happening is you get these kind of turny areas like this. And this area is interesting. Because if I'm like a big guy, I can do something there. There's there's stuff happening there. So if I get like an inside bar, for instance, if I get one of these, if I get this happens, now all of a sudden I can say, okay, it might go down to here, it might go up to here. I can like hard define my risk and make trades out of that. Okay. Well, what tends to happen is it's like a fractal. So you might get this outside bar right here, and here was like, it was small here, or up here like this, and then we get this outside bar, and I can sit down and I can do this, and then what will happen is we'll move down or whatever, and then the open will happen, and we'll come all the way up to here and stop, and then we'll come back down, and we'll come all the way back to here, and we'll stop. And so, if I see a potential area where there's a potential outside bar that you don't necessarily see on the larger time frame, we should be able to, in theory, draw a line, and in the future, this will happen right here. And I can take a trade there, or I can take a profit there. That's my understanding of it. Now, the question is, how do I draw this line in a consistent manner? Because what happens is I think that I have something that's consistent. And then I'll explain it to John, and he'll be like, no. Or he'll show me a picture of it, and I'm like, okay, so this is like, you're drawing it from the previous high to this high. It's like, it's always different. So I can't even, like, I want it to be to the point, even if I can't do it in software, where I will draw the same line that he does every day. All I see are boobs. Ace, I know how you feel. Anyways, they tested the line I drew 90 minutes ago again. Okay, so what? I don't think you understand the question that I'm posing. That it tested it today doesn't matter. The question is, when you draw it tomorrow, and next week, and next month, and 5 years from now, what is the probability that they'll test that line and fail again? Because that it did it today, that's confirmation bias. If we're looking at it on one instance when it worked, and then we ignore the times that it doesn't work, we have to eliminate the bias, we have to analyze it and say, this is... Oh, the point of the line was showing you where price discovery was taking place. Okay. Well, what is he talking about? Holy crap. I don't know. But that's my point. Show me show me how to analyze it correctly. It's not just, that's all it was meant for. Well, okay. I don't know if, because here's the other thing is we're saying like, well, how does that help you trade? Or is there, you're looking at something that's useful or not? And it's kind of like, I don't know. So I'm trying to look at it and see if I notice something when I'm looking at it. And then as I'm looking at it, maybe I notice something, and then maybe I can go and I can try and figure out some way to prove if there's actually something to it. But then you're showing me something, and can I make money off of it or not? I don't know. So you gotta be able to show me how to analyze it. If I can't analyze it, if I can't do all three of the things, so there's a discovery, you've given me something. If I can't analyze and execute on it, then it's useless. NQ is strong today, it sure is. Well, they're coming back up to that 30 area now again. So we'll see, maybe they take it this time. I mean, I tell you what, if they break through this at 2630 and then they decide to go up to 2650 or even 2700 today, although I think 2700 would be really quite something else, then doesn't that kind of like just negate almost everything that we've been saying in our analysis today? I agree with you partly. It's good to have a mechanical strategy that you know is profitable, then add a bit of subjectivity / skill to increase the edge / win rate. Yeah, well, and I mean, so there's another side to this for sure, right? And that is that you might have an edge, and that edge disappears, or they come and go, and that's where I really think that our discretion is really useful. Is your ability to say this is the kind of market that it is, and this is what I should be able to do. But it has to be based on some things that you can actually prove to some extent, right? And then you're hoping that your own discretion is good enough, and then you prove to yourself by keeping your own stats how good your discretion part actually is. So there's a part to it for sure. I'm only just talking about like one specific thing that we're pointing out. It negates everything you said. A test of 2650 was your scenario 3. That wouldn't happen. Well, I didn't say it would not happen. I think it's significantly less likely to happen. Yeah. I guess I should qualify that. I am not confident enough on that prediction to like trade it, to like fade 2626 here. Certainly not. I just know that when you've got a gap like that there is a probability that you don't go through it. If you only want to go for stats, automated only. You know what? If I had something that I could automate that would work, then I would just do it. But usually my strats are more complicated. I don't know how to automate it. Okay, it is time for me to go. I gotta go. We can talk about this tomorrow. In the meantime, stay profitable.